The back of the rental boat safety checklist contains checkpoints that are specific to the rental boat. Different types of vessels have different features and characteristics that need to be shown, demonstrated, or explained to the customer. Since this part of the checklist deals with the operation and handling of the boat, it is important that rental staff know how to operate and handle the boat safely. At this point, we will now review all the checkpoints on the 5 checklists. Be aware that because each checklist is unique, the order of the checkpoints will vary from checklist to checklist. Show the customer how to start and stop the engine, operate the throttle, and ensure they can maneuver the boat. If there is an engine cutoff device, demonstrate how to attach it and make sure they use it. Also, make sure they know how to fuel the boat safely. For example, all guests need to get off the boat during fueling, and if the boat has a portable fuel tank, it needs to be taken off for refueling. Leave the actual fueling to the attendant at the marina, who will take precautions against spillage. Show the customer where to turn on the blower and instruct them to turn it on for at least 4 minutes before starting the engine after fueling. For personal watercraft, the customer will have to lift the seat and air the engine for 4 minutes after refueling. Finally, explain the rule of thirds when it comes to fuel for their trip. 1/3 of a tank for the trip out, 1/3 to return, 1/3 in reserve. The length of time you spend on operation and fueling will depend on the complexity of the boat and the customer's experience. New boaters will require more attention, possibly even a full demonstration, before they are capable of safe operation. Remember, not all boats are the same. Familiarity with one type of boat does not make a customer capable of safely operating all boats. For example, a customer who has often driven tiller-steered boats may require an in-depth demonstration if they are operating a houseboat or personal watercraft for the first time. There are common issues you should review with your customers for each boat type. Again, the customer's level of experience will dictate the length of time required. Tiller steered. The speed control for boats with tiller steering is located at the rear or stern of the boat. This allows very fine turning, but comes with certain dangers. At high speeds, abrupt turns can cause the boat to flip or capsize. Also, turning too quickly, or slowing the boat too quickly, may allow a wave from the boat's wake to enter the rear of the boat, causing it to capsize. Wheel steered. The biggest concern is the boat's power and speed capabilities. Operate at safe speeds in high traffic areas. At high speeds, turning too quickly or encountering another boat's wake can be dangerous. Also, it may be impossible to stop quickly enough when there is a risk of a collision. Remember, boats do not have brakes. To stay safe, use caution at all times. Pontoon boat. Stay seated while the boat is in motion. Also, ensure that all guests are accounted for at all times. Wind can easily affect pontoon boats, particularly while docking. Houseboat. Take a head count before starting the motor. Due to a houseboat's size, visibility may be limited. Post lookouts at either the front, rear, or any area that the operator cannot see. This is particularly important when docking. Make customers aware that houseboats do not turn quickly, and due to their weight, houseboats can do serious damage in a collision, even at slow speeds. Personal watercraft. Before starting the engine, the operator must make sure that the lanyard to the kill switch is attached to their wrist or to their life jacket. When the engine of a personal watercraft is shut off, or the throttle is released, steering control is lost with most models. If the personal watercraft you are renting has off-throttle control or brakes, you will need to review these features with your customers. Regardless of the type of boat, the fine steering required when departing or approaching a dock is difficult, especially in high wind, strong currents, or waves. Ensure the customers are comfortable with their ability to do so. Tell your customers to anchor boats from the bow or front. Boats are heaviest at the rear where the engine is located. The added weight of an anchor may cause a boat to capsize if it is anchored anywhere but the bow. Customers should only anchor the boat in places that can be seen clearly by other boats and well clear of high traffic areas. When operating a boat at night or in poor visibility, navigation lights must be used. Your customers must know how and when to turn on the navigation lights. Remember, personal watercraft do not have navigation lights, meaning customers should never ride at night or when visibility is reduced. Make sure that customers know that when the boat is moving, they should not sit on the swim platform, front, sides, or rear of the boat. In other words, on the gunwale of the boat or outside the railings of pontoon boats and houseboats. Sitting on the front of any boat with a platform supported by pontoons is particularly dangerous. If a person sitting at the front falls into the water, they will be directed into the boat's propeller. Warn customers who are renting pontoon boats or houseboats with this feature of the danger. In general, unless a boat is designed to be operated while standing, guests should remain seated, especially when the boat is in motion. The likelihood of falling overboard changes from boat to boat. In calm weather, a houseboat provides more stability than a tiller-steered boat. However, all boats come with risks. Low-slung railings on pontoon boats or houseboats can create tripping hazards, even in calm water. Where there is a risk, extra care should be taken. When moving, boaters should keep a firm hold on the handrails or another solid part of the boat. Every boat has unique risks. It is your responsibility to know those risks and alert customers to them. Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas you can't see, smell, or taste. It cuts off the oxygen supply to your body, causing death in minutes. It can be created by the engine or other appliances. All boats emit carbon monoxide. Tell customers to be alert. The symptoms include headaches, nausea, dizziness, and fatigue. If another cause cannot be ruled out, seek medical attention. The boat operator should keep guests and swimmers away from areas where carbon monoxide accumulates. Even after the motor has stopped, carbon monoxide can accumulate. Be aware that the swim platform is a particular hazard for carbon monoxide poisoning. Idling alongside a dock can cause exhaust to gather in the back or stern of the boat. It is best to turn the motor off. If the boat has carbon monoxide detectors, show them to the customers and explain what to do should the alarm sound. Carbon monoxide can be a particular concern on houseboats. As on all boats, keep swimmers away from the engine, but also away from generator exhausts. On a houseboat, customers should only use generators supplied as part of the rental package. Show them how to operate all gas and electrical appliances on board. By doing this, you will help keep your customers safe from a potential fire or explosion, as well as carbon monoxide poisoning. Overloading a boat with people, equipment, or both is dangerous. Too much weight, or weight that is poorly distributed, will make the boat unstable and allow small waves to come on board. It will also reduce the amount the boat can roll before its sides dip under the water, increasing the risk of swamping or capsizing. All boats under 6 meters have compliance notices that indicate the maximum number of people and the maximum weight the boat can carry. Know these numbers, tell your customers, and write the maximum load on the rental boat safety checklist. Large boats can also become unstable. Refer to the manufacturer for guidance and use your judgment. Make sure all people and goods on board are distributed evenly, front to back and side to side, and all materials are secure. You will note this section is surrounded by a border on the checklist. If you do not allow tow sports, simply mark an X through this section. Tow sports like water skiing and tubing are a lot of fun, but require caution to avoid injuries. As the rental agency, you can determine whether or not to allow tow sports. If you do permit tow sports, then here is the information you need to review with your customers. Ski boats, runabouts, some pontoon boats, and personal watercraft can tow tubes and water skiers. For safety, towing gear should be securely stowed when not in use. It takes 3 to ski. Inform your customers that in addition to the boat operator, there must be a person on board watching the person being towed. The vessel must also have a seat for every person being towed. For this reason, only personal watercraft capable of carrying 3 or more people may be used for tow sports. Explain that anyone being towed should wear their life jacket and should be at least 10 meters from the boat when the engine is running. To board the boat, keep an eye on the person, turn the bow towards the person, turn the motor off and leave it off, and keep them away from the propeller. Use a boarding ladder when one is available. Never, ever use the motor as a step to get back in the boat. Make sure your customers know they should never engage in tow sports after dark. Besides the items already covered, there are a few other points specific to certain boat types that you should cover as part of the dockside safety orientation. Tiller steered and wheel steered. These boats often have a drain plug. Show this to your customers and make sure it is secure. When these boats are used for recreational fishing, it's really important to tell your customers to stow all gear when not in use. This will reduce the likelihood of tripping or falling overboard. Houseboat. Show the customer how to anchor or secure the boat for overnight stays. Houseboats have areas that the operator is unable to see. Assign a responsible adult to keep track of any children on board. Personal watercraft. Personal watercraft are very maneuverable, making sharp, fast turns possible. This may confuse other boaters. Ask customers to avoid making these turns, as it can make it difficult for other boaters to avoid a collision. When turning, the operator should check behind them to the right and the left before making their turn. It is possible to roll a capsized personal watercraft upright without significant difficulty. Instruct your customers to swim to the rear of the PWC and roll it upright. Most manufacturers place a decal at the rear showing which direction to roll the PWC. Rolling a PWC the wrong way can damage the craft. Make sure you know which way to roll the PWC in case the decal is missing. When running, personal watercraft draw water into a jet drive and expel it through a nozzle at the stern. The suction created by the pump can be powerful and will draw loose items into the jet drive. Warn your customers to keep loose objects such as hair, clothing, and life jacket straps away from the intake rate, which is located near the rear of the personal watercraft. If you are renting out boats when or where the water is normally cold, that is, 15 degrees Celsius or less, you should also be briefing your customers about the dangers of cold water shock. Cold shock is a deep gasping and inhalation of water caused by an unexpected fall into cold water. Wearing a life jacket is the best defense against cold shock because it keeps the person above water while they get their breathing under control. Hypothermia is the next danger. The most important message to get across to your customers is this: if they do end up in the water, they need to do everything they can to save energy and body heat and swim only when they can join others or reach safety.